and I think it's just getting ready to come by. Oh, here comes NASA Nellie. Those were her. You have your thing turned up. NASA Nellie is going to talk about Travis Walton and his UFO incident, a terror in the woods. Take it away, NASA Nellie.
It was the morning of November 5th, 1975. Travis Walton, a young lumberjack, had been working with his crew in the Apache Sitgraves National Forest near Snowflake, Arizona. It was an ordinary workday, so they thought. Sunset had arrived and the men were almost finished with their work. They loaded up the chainsaws, gas, and oil cans into their truck and headed home. So here is Travis and his 6 co-workers riding their truck when they suddenly encountered a large, glimmering, brilliant light through the trees. Then a saucer-shaped object appeared, making a high-pitched buzz about 100 feet above them. A couple of the guys yelled, "Stop the truck! It's a flying saucer!" They stopped, and the men watched, spellbound. It was a strange golden metallic disc hovering silently in the air. A weird glow encircled the forest. The trees took on bizarre hue that was very different from their natural colors. There were no visible windows or doors, no motion or sound from the craft, almost dead in the air. Travis insisted on getting out of the truck to check it out, thinking it was a chance of a lifetime. The men yelled at him to come back. As he approached the craft, he could now barely hear sound from the ship, high beeping over a rumbling sound of heavy machinery, something he had never heard before. He then heard a sound like turbine generators start.
Oh, all right. Grandpa, just hang on till we get NASA Nellie back to the space station.
Stop the press.
But don't go away.
The saucer started to wobble, and he was in the middle of a bright light. Felt like a numbing feeling, like a high voltage shock. He heard cracking and popping noises. Then a huge light beam hit him and lifted him off the ground, and then 10 feet and threw him back. The frightened men took off. Walton claimed that he awoke in a hospital room, and he was not alone. In his own words, "I realized I was definitely not in a hospital. I was looking square into the face of a horrible creature with huge eyes, and then I looked frantically around me. There were 3 of them. Hysteria came over me. The creatures looked similar to humans, but were not human. Their thin bones were covered with white, marshmallowy-looking flesh, had suede coverall type suits with no seams or buttons. He said he felt he was a cornered animal and suddenly jumped up to defend himself by grabbing a glass-like tube on a table next to him and tried to break off the end to use it like a weapon, but it wouldn't break. There is so much more to this story." Travis Walton found himself walking along a highway 5 days later with this flying saucer departing above him. Following his recovery from the incident, he and his co-workers underwent intense scrutiny. The people in town thought at first that the workers killed Travis, or that the whole story was a hoax once he finally emerged. The men took polygraph tests, which they all passed. Even the witnesses still stand by their story to this day. John Goulet said, "I know what I saw, and it wasn't anything from this earth." Kenneth Peterson said, "I saw a bluish light come from the machine, and Travis went flying like he touched a live wire." Steve Pierce said, "The light ray was the brightest thing I had ever seen in my whole life." Alan Dallas said, "We couldn't believe what had happened. The horror was unreal." Walton wrote Fire in the Sky in 1997. A film of the same name was released in 1993 based on the book. It starred Robert Patrick, James Garner, and D.B. Sweeney. Over the years, Travis has been a part of numerous UFO and paranormal conventions, as well as highlighted on several shows on the History Channel and others. His story is one of the most interesting and well-documented abduction stories. What makes it even more credible are the witnesses, the other men who actually saw the craft and Travis being thrown into the air, and they testified to it with no concerns about the consequences. Even after 46 years, the Travis Walton UFO incident remains to be a truly amazing, out-of-this-world story.
Thank you, NASA Nellie. Now let's hear your retro rockets. Now we had a great person that I really admire, Dr. Fow, the last hour. Now we've got another person who I greatly admire, who has his show right here, I'm happy to say, on KMET, and that is, of course, Let Grandpa Speak. So please speak.
Hello, hello, hello. I've been attempting to call you quite a few times. Usually on Fridays, I'm pretty busy or out of town or something like that. But today I'm
Uh-huh.
here and I'm glad to be with you and your audience.
I am so glad that you are here, okay? Your show is to the rest of us is a great blessing. I won't mince words. Your show is a blessing. And it's like I say during the first part of this show, is that is the best. Your show is the best way to start your weekend, the best way to start Saturday morning, right? So,
Yeah,
and you're even older than I am,
yeah. Yeah, just
but
a little bit, not much.
nah, yeah, but you
not,
know what?
not
In
much.
person, you look like you're maybe 50.
I know. I'm 91. I feel great. I'm healthy, and I'm thankful. And the reason why I do the show, I do it for free because I want other seniors to know they don't have to be suffering because you're getting older. Just because you're getting older do not mean you have to be sick. It does not mean you have to lose all your faculties or be uninterested in life. I'm 91 and I got plans for the future right now. So I think that's what more or less we should be living, and live our life to the fullest. And that's what I teach, and that's what I want people to know. And I want them to know also they got help in a lot of different programs. They can be helped. Um, they may not know that. They may think that they're on their own, but they can be helped. So, and that's what I teach also. So,
Yeah, so
we do a great
make
job
sure
trying to
you're
help
listening
people.
to and or watch Let Grandpa Speak every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. The way to start your weekend. And I remember once when I went out to see you, and when I call, sometimes you're bowling. Now, me, I can't even pick up a bowling ball, not even a children's bowling ball. And here you are at 91, still playing on a regular basis.
Yeah,
That's
I'm in the
great.
league, and we're doing pretty good in the league. I like to say we're in second place.
All right. Well, you're in
Yeah,
first place as far as the rest of us are concerned.
I
And
know.
your show is a blessing. So, man, I'm
Yeah.
so glad that we were able to meet.
Mm.
But
Okay.
just keep on
And,
going
and
the way you
and
are.
yeah, and I think you mentioned a friend that you introduced me to. Was it Daryl?
Yeah, he's the one that has the show on Wednesday now. I got it right this
Yeah, yeah.
time.
I wanted to watch it before, but I got real busy, and then by the time I got around to doing it, it was like too late. And so I
Yeah,
thought about it.
but
But
you can
I'll
always
catch
watch
him the next
the
time.
older
Yeah,
shows.
yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, well, I just
so
want to say KMET got some really great shows and some really great people. I think, more we should pick up more and more of the neighborhood because I think the neighborhood needs what it provides. So, hey,
yeah,
that's how I feel about it.
absolutely.
Right.
Needs people like all of us, and
All
you,
right.
of course,
Yeah.
especially.
And
And
don't forget Sean. Yeah,
Daryl
Sean,
wants to meet
everybody
you,
knows
and
Sean. Now,
hopefully we'll
nobody
put
coughing up
together
me.
like a little
We
video with
know.
several of us that are on KMET, and
Right.
we'll be able to air that every now and then, or maybe every now and then we'll have a get together and have that on the show, or one of our shows, or all of our shows for that matter.
Well, I don't know. I guess we need to talk to the management or whoever about that. I don't know.
Yeah, well, as far as I'm concerned, Sean's the chief,
All
right?
right.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
Sean, you're the man.
Yeah. He's my helper. He really helps me out. He's been great with me. So I
Oh,
really like that.
he's great with
Yeah.
me also, and he puts
Yeah.
up with technical difficulties
Yeah.
and all that. He
Yeah.
has patience. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
He handles it. He handles it. He's a pro. He's a
Yeah, he
pro.
is.
He's a
You hear
pro.
that, Sean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
He's
did.
just
Wow.
yeah. There he goes. There he is. Okay. Yeah.
Hey, yeah, he's really great. Yeah.
So what are your plans for the weekend other than the great show at 9 a.m. tomorrow?
Well, I was going to do a show about we're buying a pack, since Costco and other stores are packaging their products in very large amounts.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that and why it may or may not be good to do that. And,
understood. Well, yeah, that's a good topic. You always have good topics. And, of course, you've got a regular call-in guest.
Yeah,
Have you ever met that person?
Yeah, I've met him.
Okay.
Yeah, I met him.
And I'm sure you'll probably put some time aside every show for him to call in when he does. So.
No, I just got him used to him calling in. When I first started doing this show, he was calling in, and he just been calling in ever since. He's been almost calling in almost as long as I've done the show, and I've done the show on 2 different stations. KMET is the next station that I've done it on, but he was calling me from even there. So he's just like part of the structure almost.
Yeah, yeah. He is kind of entertaining, I gotta admit.
Yeah.
I think
and that's what his intent is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once he said he was calling from a rainforest once, and then
Right. Yeah. Well, it brings adds a little bit of a little bit of spark to the show. So I don't complain about it. I say, fine, let him talk. He's not hurting anything. And sometimes he say something good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, a little bit of humor and stuff goes along a very long way.
Oh, yeah. We all need to laugh a little bit more. Life would be a lot better.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, Jay, let me get off here and let you get back to your work.
Hey, thank you so much.
Right.
And then give me a call or leave me a message about if Daryl and I can come by.
Okay,
and,
all right.
Tell Grandma happy birthday.
And what's that?
Tell Grandma happy birthday.
Oh, and NASA Nellie here says to tell Grandma happy birthday.
I certainly will tell her that, right? Okay.
Okay. Take care of yourself. I know you do. Let's all take care of ourselves the same way that Grandpa does.
Right. That's right. Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
So good to hear from you.
Okay. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. That was a real treat. Really, really, really like this guy. And, I take it most of you are probably listening to his show already. But if not, 9 a.m. every Saturday morning. If you miss it, you can go to my site. You can go KMET. You can always pick it up, watch it, listen to it, whatever. I like to watch because it's good to see people's faces and expressions and that kind of thing. So thank you, Grandpa of Let Grandpa Speaks. That was a great, and especially right after NASA Nellie. So we went from outer space to the next best frontier. So thank you again. But getting back to what we were talking about before is famous birthdays of November the 5th or thereabouts. And that next person is going to be Sam Shepard. And he joined us in 1943, so he's 3 years old, would have been 3 years older than I am, and he passed away in 2017, or earned his wings in 2017. I'm sure you know what he looks like, but there he is as a younger tyke. You can still tell it's him, but he got, I think, more better looking for the roles that he played as time went on. Here's another picture. This is more like it, I would think. And I got one more picture. Oh, it looks like I was running out of ink when this happened, but so be it. Nothing wrong with a few stripes, if you can even see that. But, Samuel Shepard Rogers III was an American actor, playwright, screenwriter whose career spanned half a century, and he is so talented. He won 10 off-Broadway awards, also called Obie Awards. Wow, Obie, O-B-I-E. That's not the same obies that we get on Japanese records, is it? Anyway, for writing and directing, the most of any writer or director, the most awards of that type of anyone. He wrote 58 plays as well as several books of short stories. He received the Pulitzer Prize for Drama and nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for his portrayal of Chuck Yeager in The Right Stuff. I can't think of Chuck Yeager looking any other way than Sam Shepard. Shepard's plays are known for their bleak, sometimes black comedy and surrealistic elements. That's not always bleak. I mean, it's like saying Dr. Strangelove is bleak. No, it's not, but I understand what they're saying. He was born in Fort Sheridan, Illinois. His father was a teacher and a farmer who served in the U.S. Army Air Forces and was a drinking man, a dedicated alcoholic, Shepard said. His mother was a teacher. And Shepard worked on a ranch as a teenager. It seems like that would be normal for him. Graduated from high school in Duarte, California. Oh, okay. And dropped out of college to join a tour of a repertory group. So Sam moved to New York City, found work as a busboy at the Village Gate nightclub. Okay. Which is, I don't think there anymore. Anyway. The nightclub's history includes musicians such as Coleman Hawkins, great guy, Duke Ellington, great guy, Jimi Hendrix, the great Bill Evans, Aretha Franklin, and more. So yeah, that was a big time place. He roomed with Charlie Mingus Jr., a friend from high school, and son of jazz musician Charlie Mingus. And remember, we talked about him about a month or so ago, showed a bunch of his records and that kind of thing. And Shepard joined an experimental stage company and they debuted two of his earlier plays there. For several years, his plays were performed at several companies, but mostly at one called La Mama. Really? La Mama Experimental Theater Club. The theater started as an off-Broadway venue at night in the basement of a boutique in East Village. And we used to go to a small theater in the basement of the Advertising Arts Building in Santa Ana on 1st Street, right next to the railroad tracks, which you could hear the trains rumbling by. And that was a lot of fun. So it evolved during its 50-year history into a world-renowned cultural institution. The one on 1st Street in Santa Ana did not. It's called the Lighthouse Theater or something like that. Anyway, Shepard accompanied Bob Dylan on the Rolling Thunder Revue in 1975. In the following years, he was involved with musician Patti Smith, then Joni Mitchell. In the early 80s, he met actress Jessica Lange, and they were together for almost 30 years. He began his film acting career cast in a major role in Terrence Malick's, and you know what I think of Terrence Malick, one of the best living American directors, or directors regardless of where they're from, Days of Heaven. We'll show a little bit. His portrayal of Chuck Yeager in The Right Stuff earned him an Academy Award nomination. The real Chuck Yeager took Shepard, who was afraid of flying, up in a jet plane in preparation for that film. I'm like, wow, that's pretty good to know. In 2009 and 2015, he was arrested for speeding and drunk driving. Wow, 2015, huh? He died in 2017 in Kentucky from complications of ALS. That is, very few people have survived that, and hopefully there'll be more research. And yeah, well, Sam starred in 60 films. And here's a short list of Sam Shepard films. Okay, Days of Heaven. I love this movie. Uh, it's so moody. The photography is wonderful. Directed by Terrence Malick, starred Richard Gere, Brooke Adams, film nominated for 4 Oscars and won one for Best Cinematography. Here is the soundtrack. And this is by Ennio Morricone, who just passed away not too long ago and writes amazing stuff, as you probably already know. Look out for this movie if you haven't seen it. I'm sure it's on Amazon. This is just a great film, and one that goes by so fast it's like it didn't even happen. The Right Stuff. And here is, we've shown this before. Great film. Very, very, I don't know, magical in many ways. By Philip Kaufman. Just incredible. You know, if you remember that scene of the Aborigines and a fire and up in space, he was able to see the flicks of the sparks fly by the window. That's something you don't see very often. And here is the video disc, and of course Sam Shepard, which you probably can't see right there. I'm sure you probably can't see it, but you know, great film. Wolf, who is not one of my favorite authors, did author this, and what a great film that is. And it was directed, like I said, by Philip Kaufman, starred Ed Harris, Scott Glenn, Dennis Quaid, who we talked about in detail not that long ago, and his rock and roll band, Barbara Hershey. And the film nominated for 8 Oscars and won 4. Did it win for Best Film? I mean, it sure should have. But anyway, then there was Black Hawk Down, directed by Ridley Scott. It starred Josh Hartnett, Ewan McGregor, film nominated for 4 Academy Awards and won 2. And also, Shepard was, he was a writer, so he was involved in Zabriskie Point and, Antonioni, I believe, right? And I don't know. I thought it was pretty weird. Antonioni, I don't think this was his best film, but, it certainly, there were a lot of waves about it. And Calcutta, 1972. Paris, Texas, which I think is a really good film. And the music is amazing. I was just being told by our director I have 3 copies of this. And that's because I was afraid one would wear out. I was playing it so much. Ry Cooder, just great. And what's his name on here? Harry Dean Stanton does some soliloquy, does a great amount, of talking on one track, which is really nice. This whole film is worthwhile and should be seen. The music is outstanding, but I'm a big Ry Cooder fan anyway. Then he also was a writer for Simpatico, 1999, which I don't know anything about, just to name a few. So that's good. Now, Sally Field was born on the 6th, so we're going to have to wait and come back tomorrow, right? No. November 1946, so she is a little bit younger than me by, let me see, do I have enough fingers? 8 months younger than I am. But Sally Margaret Field is an American actress, as if you didn't know. And director, Sally was born in Pasadena to actress Margaret Field, a man from Planet X, who I think we've shown you before, The Man from Planet X. And, the book that was written by co-star, where is his name on here?
Clark.
Yeah, Robert Clark. Or why isn't his name on? Oh, there it is. Robert Clark. Margaret Field, which is the mama, William Shallaret, who I think was very. No, he was the bad guy in it, wasn't
Yeah,
he?
he was.
Yeah, directed by Edgar G. Ulmer, which we've talked about plenty of times, and hopefully you know something about. Here's some fun facts on the back here, which I don't know. Maybe is worthwhile, maybe is ain't worthwhile. In case you don't know what she looks like, I think you do. There's Sally, a little bit younger. I guess I was younger too at some time, but there she is. There she is again, younger. And, wow, interesting. And here she is as the flying nun. That face and a nun's costume just, I don't know, doesn't quite make it for me, but apparently it did for television audiences at the time. And I guess I'll show this right now. This is, and we know what film this came from. I believe she won an Academy Award for
Best actress.
yeah, Best Actress, of course. But we'll get into the film here in
Norma Ray.
what's that?
Norma Ray.
Norma Ray. Yeah, and we'll get into that a little bit. Man from Planet X. Maybe we should watch that tonight, along with the other one we put aside. And attended Birmingham High School in Van Nuys, where she was a cheerleader. Yeah, she looks more like a cheerleader than a nun. She was persuaded by her stepfather, Jock Mahoney of Tarzan fame, to pursue show business. She began her career in television as Boy Crazy Surfer Girl Gidget and then The Flying Nun. Her movie career included several Smokey and the Bandit films, Places in the Heart, Steel Magnolias, Forrest Gump, Norma Ray, just to mention a few. We'll get to that in a minute. She starred in over 37 films and had received 2 Academy Awards, 3 Primetime Emmy Awards, and many others. Not bad for a cheerleader. Field is an activist for treatment of osteoporosis, as she is diagnosed for the disease, and also supports women's rights and gay rights. Field received the Golden Plate Award, in 2005 from the American Academy of Achievement and Recognition of her contributions to the arts, as well as her dedication as a social activist. Can you eat off that plate? No? Okay. She was arrested in, what's her name from last week was arrested too. Remember, Winona Ryder was arrested, but this is the, she was arrested in 2019 while attending Jane Fonda's climate change protest in Washington, D.C. Excuse me. And here's a short list of her films. Norma Ray, which we showed you the picture of already. Directed by Martin Ritt, starred Beau Bridges, film nominated for 4 Academy Awards and won 2 for Best Actress, which was for Sally, and Best Music. And while filming Norma Ray, Field struggled in a scene with police officers pushing her into a car, and she actually broke one of her ribs. She also
Not her ribs, the actor's ribs.
Oh, one of the actor's ribs. Well, she was stronger than we thought. I guess that's where cheerleading came in handy, all that jumping around. I've broken ribs in my time, and boy, that is more painful, just a hair rib. You don't want to cough, you don't want to laugh, and we can laugh about it now. She also worked in a textile factory to prepare for the role that Jane Fonda, Jill Claiborne, and Marsha Mason all turned down. Well, I bet they were sorry. Could they have all done it? Yes, I think they could have. Places in the Heart, 1984, was directed by Robert Benton, starred Ed Harris, John Malkovich, who we don't seem to see too much anymore. But Being John Malkovich, Sean, did you see Being John Malkovich?
I missed that one.
It is one strange movie. I mean, highly recommended. Anyway, Danny Glover, film nominated for 7 Oscars and won 2 for Best Actress.
And Kissed Me.
What's that?
And Kissed Me. Danny Glover.
Kiss Me. What?
Remember at Little Easy?
Yeah.
Mother's Day? Okay.
Did he kiss you?
Yeah. Why did she?
Oh, and Danny Glover did kiss our director, NASA Nelly, at a great place in downtown LA called the Little Easy, which unfortunately has permanently closed, I found out. But remember, wherever you are, it's not too far to jump on the train and get down to downtown LA or wherever you want to in LA or any of those places with history. $10 round trip, all the subways, all the buses, anything you want. Anyway, Forrest Gump was not my favorite Robert Zemeckis film. And I know I'm not very popular in saying that, but so be it. Starred Tom Hanks, Gary Sinise, Robin Wright, and the film was nominated for 13 Academy Awards and won 6, including Best
And there's
Picture.
Sally right there.
Oh, yeah. There's your Gumperator. And there is, you're not going to be able to see this, I don't think, but there's Sally right there. I'll put it up to the screen. Let me wait for a minute to see if I need to. The monitor's, 10 seconds behind. Come on, turn it around, Jay. And I just want to see if it's visible. Well, yeah, it is. It's as visible as it's going to be. So that is most all of what we will cover right now for Gidget. Gidget, Bridget Gidget. How about some honorable mentions? And I mean, this is an important person, but I don't have that much to show. And Roy Rogers joined us on this date in 1911 and left us in 1998. And I know you just don't know what he looks like. Sure you do, but look how young he looks. He was a great looking, with the guitar in hand. One of the two, along with Gene Autry, one of the two great late singing cowboys. I remember a Gene Autry movie where he went down, was a science fiction film. Do you remember that at all?
Yes.
It was really crazy. Anyway, here's what he looked like a little bit later in life. And he had a museum out in, along the 15, the other side of the mountains there, which would have been, well, you know where it is. In fact, look, just because I'm old, I should still be.
Museum.
Yeah, just look at where the city was. I mean, it was, and from what I understand, as long as they were both alive, he and his wife were there every day to greet and talk to people. So there's somebody who just didn't forget the people that took him to where he was and wanted to be. I know they lived out in Apple Valley area because they were involved in some, real estate ventures for older people like myself. I almost said a nasty word about anyway. He was an American singer, actor, and television host. He was the co-founder of the Sons of the Pioneers, as he became one of the most popular
Oro Grande says.
What?
Oro Grande in California.
No. No, I'm not talking about his ranch. I'm talking about the museum.
Apple Valley.
Yeah, Apple. Well, no, that's okay. We'll worry about that later. But I didn't know until this that he was one of the Sons of the Pioneer. Now, didn't we get a record, Sons of the Pioneer?
We almost did. We saw it at a
And why didn't we get it?
I don't know.
We didn't. Okay. Well, we will next time.
Yeah.
And speaking of singers, which I just was, although I'd like somebody to call in either now or later and tell me what that science fiction had to do with the word radio.
Yeah.
And it was a submerged, it was in a cap. Anyway, so be it. It wasn't the mole people, which is also about going into the, whoops, the hand just dropped off. So a claw of the mole person just popped off. So we'll remember to get it. But Art Garfunkel, what an amazing singer Art is. And don't laugh. Well, let me show you what he looks like. What he looked like when, you know, some of the Simon and Garfunkel stuff came out. And I loved Simon and Garfunkel. I mean, it's just amazing, good stuff. And I miss him. Even though Paul Simon does some great stuff. Here's Garfunkel.
Yeah, Radio Ranch.
Radio Ranch, that's the name of that movie. And
the Phantom Empire.
Radio Ranch and the Phantom Empire. Remind us to look that up. Maybe we can find it online or something. But here's Art at my age. No, here's Art at a younger age, okay? And there he is. That's pretty cool, you gotta admit. Now, Art Garfunkel joined us November 5th, 1941, so he's a little bit older than I am. And Arthur Ira Garfunkel is an American singer and actor best known for his partnership with Paul Simon in the duo Simon and Garfunkel. And I'm going to show you a couple of things. Oh, I also... Here is a Simon and Garfunkel Bridge Over Troubled Water, which is one of their two best known. This particular pressing is on 4 individual records pressed at 45 RPM. One side is completely flat so that it can fit on the turntable without causing any vibration underneath. Records are so hard to come by. I mean, they're so popular. And the record pressing plants are so far behind. There's just no way anybody would make money doing single-sided ones as much as this. Now, what sounds better than that? By a little bit, not by a long shot, but by a little bit. This one, Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab, and got 3313 out of 7,500. This whole series on Mobile Fidelity is amazing, and we just picked up the last two. The last two we picked up was the first 2 Eagles albums, which were just amazing sounding, and this is very good also. And also, bring me the, Paul Simon is good, and we just picked up last week Paul Simon's. Just bringing it over, but also as one of those one steps. What's the one we picked up? Still Crazy After All These Years, which I don't have. But this Paul Simon, Graceland, that is good. I forgot how good that is, and this is a great sounding repress. This just came out. Oh, you know what? I've got a download here.
Oh, you were asking about.
Is this the only one with the download?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not a big digital fan, although I've got a couple records that are amazing on digital. I mean, they're not on CD, but they're amazing. I think that if they would just give us the best they can on digital, it would be great. Anyway, that's another story. But Still Crazy After All These Years, actually, one of the producers of that was actually Art Garfunkel, who also, I think, sings on it to some little bit degree also. And what about this day in history? Well, I'll tell you what happened this day in history. Dr. Wade Pfau showed up on the Educated Retirement Show, which is part of what puts this show on the map as a great resource to older people and younger people that plan on getting old. And let's hope that we all plan on getting old. Here is too, because as it says here, it is showtime. And as long as you're alive, you should consider it showtime. Excuse me while I take a sip. And slurp a lot. What happened on this day? Nat King Cole Show debuted on NBC November 5th, 1956. And this is one of the very first variety shows hosted by an African American. The show featured some of the era's biggest stars, sharing the stage with Cole, who was himself one of the top talents of his day. Cole recorded over 100 songs that became hits, over 100 hits on the pop charts, and he and his trio acted in films and performed on Broadway. In 1946, when I was born, landed a national radio show, and he was introduced into the Alabama Music Hall of Fame, Jazz Hall of Fame, Rock and Rock Hall of Fame, not rock and roll, huh? Well, he wasn't rock and roll. Latin Songwriters Hall of Fame, and was awarded the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. Just to show you a couple of things, this is what showed up on the screen on your television and I kind of remember that. Was it a 15-minute? I don't remember. But that's kind of cool for its time, right? And of course, not that you forgot what he looks like, but there is a picture of him at the piano. And he sang and played the piano. And I'll show you a few records. Here is a gorgeous record pressing. The Very Thought of You. This was done on DCC, Digital Compact Classics, limited edition. However, it's not digital, pure vinyl, virgin vinyl analog pressing that was engineered by a great Steve Hoffman, who I was privileged enough to meet once shopping for records many years ago. But that's it. But let me show you
All
what.
these songs.
Look at whoa, can hardly pick these things up. There is a big. Oh, look, I'm showing nothing. That's me in general. This is a big box set, which came out quite a while ago. And there it is. Oh, I'm looking at a picture of me showing the nothing on screen. I guess that's what I show. And anyway, anything inside of there? Here is another. Whoa. Here is a Reader's Digest. Now, some people may want to put down Reader's Digest, and this sure was cheap. But Reader's Digest usually were RCA pressings, and they are pretty good, if not very, very good. So here is the Unforgettable Nat King Cole, which is another big box set. And I mean, you got to admit, he was great. And guests on the Nat King Cole show included Ella Fitzgerald, Tony Bennett, who's still with us, Sammy Davis Jr., Peggy Lee, the Mills Brothers. Was that who we were talking about with the Beatles? No, those were the Everly Brothers.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you want to hear how the Beatles got some of their rhythms together and their harmonizing, listen to
Everly Brothers.
the Everly Brothers. Reminds me, we just ordered the Let It Be box set. Anyway, Jane Russell was also there. Pearl Bailey, boy, remember her. Harry Belafonte, who is still with us and going strong. Stan Getz. Coleman Hawkins, who I really like, but sometimes his name is not bandied about as much as it should be. But just to name a few. And the show ran for 14 months, had an audience, and hosted dozens of prominent performers. We just went over some of those. But struggled to find ad sponsors. Corporations at the time, 1956, were concerned that hitching their wagon to an African-American show would alienate white customers. Wow. The Unforgettable Songbird chose to end the show famously saying, Madison Avenue is afraid of the dark. Although the show was not a commercial triumph, it did pave the way for the African American community, which unfortunately still has a ways to go, but I am not going to get into that here. In the decades that followed, shows like The Jeffersons, I think Grandpa may have won, we talked with earlier, may have won a Grammy for his cinematography on that show. The Cosby Show, Good Times, Different Strokes, and Sanford and Sons, so it may have been that one too, became very successful. Cole, Nat, was a very heavy smoker, and God, everybody we're talking about were real heavy smokers. All his life was diagnosed with lung cancer and went into the studio for the last time in 1964 and died the following year, unfortunately. But what a legacy.